Hello there. I'm Sharon Taylor, CEO and founder of the Business Vision and Development Center, and welcome to Books for Business with Villareal Jonson. We're still doing the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, and I'm a punt to Villareal in a minute, but I want to recap what we did 2 weeks ago. We covered chapters 1 through 2. Who is Michael Gerber? What is the premise of the book? What is the entrepreneurial myth? And I had Valerio define the entrepreneur, manager, and technician. So without further ado, Valerio, please take it from here.
Sharon, you're so cool. I just love that. I love that. I'm gonna ask you a question. What is the e myth? Mm,
But you really, is this a
mm,
pop quiz?
pop quiz.
Okay, the E myth is the myth that people who want to become entrepreneurs can do it all themselves. When in all actuality, that's how we start out. But that's not to be successful. That's not where we need to be. Did I get a B or A?
No, I think that's right in the right direction. Yeah, I think it's cool. The e myth is that it isn't easy as people think it is, right? And there are things that we must do to make sure that we are successful because we all know the statistics that most business fail in the first 3 years, almost all of them fail in the first 5 years. And if
Mm-hmm.
they last longer than that, they're on their way to failing, right? And there's a reason for that. What we're going to talk about today is part of that reason, right? Which is the stages of business growth and development. And like a human being, like a child, like a person, we all got to grow. And part of the problem with businesses and why they fail is because the owners choose not to grow. And success is tied to the owner's ability to decide to grow.
Okay, so what are the different, when you talk about it in terms of like human development, children to adult, what are the similar phases, parallel phases in a business as like an analogy to human growth and business growth?
Well, a newborn baby is called a what?
Infant.
That's the first stage of business growth, infancy. And it's just like a baby. You're excited, everyone is happy, and you got this thing, and you're like, oh my God, what is this thing I have? It's crying, it has needs. I don't know what it's talking about. It's not talking to me. I don't know. It's not as simple as I thought it was. It's hard work. I gotta sleep. I ain't sleeping. Oh my God, I'm crazy. Help.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah, it's infancy, right? It is the technician's phase. It's when the technician realizes that their success in business is more than what they know to do. And
Mm.
oftentimes, what they know to do is the least thing they need to know at the time. Um, because if you make pies like Sarah, Sarah can make pies in her free time in her house, and it's cool because Sarah has a job, Sarah has her utilities on, Sarah has her house, Sarah has um, indirectly covered opportunity costs, she has indirectly covered overhead, right? Because when you're just doing something you love that you're good at with passion, it's a little different. But when you're trying to do it in the marketplace and you're trying to get someone to buy it, there's a lot more that goes with that. And that's sort of what the infancy stage is all about. Figuring out what your business needs, getting those needs met, in feeding it. But this is the most difficult time, and this is where most businesses fail.
Oh, okay. So, okay, we got past the infancy stage. We got the bottle in the business's mouth. It's starting to toddle around. Okay, we seeing
Right, right.
some growth
We got the
now.
routine down, right? We on a 3 year we on a 3 hour cycle, right? You know, the baby wakes up, it cries, you feed it, you change it, right? You play with the child a little bit, you give it some tinker toys, right? And you got it down packed. You're on a routine, you're on the system. And then baby
Okay,
starts.
now this baby is a teenager.
Oh my goodness, it's called adolescence, just like a teenager. They got some mobility. They got some things working for themselves. Now you're starting to deal with factors that you don't know to predict, variables that you didn't know exist, external pressures and controls that are changing your thoughts and your mind, just like a teenager. Teenager go away to school, come home with some new thinking and some new ideas, bring it into the house and bring it to you as a parent. And you're like, where is this coming from? Right? And that's sort of adolescence, right? Your business is starting to grow, you're starting to perform, you're starting to get some things working for you. You see a little bit of profit, uh, but you're overwhelmed again because you're at another point in the growth when you have to level up, just like you have to level up with your teenager. Sometimes parents, use aggression, use force, use negotiation, throw the hands up and go live with your aunt and uncle down south, whatever. There's a lot of ways you can approach dealing with your budding teenager who has their own independence in mind. But that's not what we need to do in this phase of adolescence.
So, what is it that we need to do? Or is there, I know everything is part of the growth process and we have to adjust, pivot, so forth and so on. So, when we hit that stage as business owners, what do we kind of need to take stock of? What do we need to recognize? And what do we need? What kind of plan do we need to have to be in that space?
Well, initially, you need coaching. You always want to surround yourself with people who know more than what you know, people who've been where you've been, so they can help you avoid the pitfalls.
Okay.
Ultimately, you have to make a determination that is this business about you or is this business about the products and services that you're trying to sell. Oftentimes, business owners make it about them. It's mine. Sometimes, like parents do with their children. But sometimes you got to let them grow, and you have to let it be and become its own thing. Business is the same way. As a technician, as an owner, those are two different mindsets. The technician is the person that does the work. The owner is the person that makes sure that the resources are there so the work gets done. And that's pretty hard. That's a pretty hard transition for someone who's been conditioned to work a career, someone who's
Mm-hmm.
only known a W-2 life, someone who has, oh, you're great just because you do this one thing, and we're going to continue to provide you the supports so you can be great at doing this one thing. But the owner's job is to make sure that the people in the business are supported, the systems are in place, the resources are available, and that there are processes and procedures in place to make sure the products and services are delivered at fair, reasonable market rate or market value or whatever you can get. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to think do I want to be a technician? Do I want to be the person who does the work? Or do I want to be an owner and do I want to see the work getting done? And one other thing to think about, you have a couple different stages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurism is the first step away from W-2. It's the first step away from working for somebody. But that first step away is you working for yourself, which means you own your job. You are your own boss, your own master, your own employee, your own slave. So how crazy is that for you to be master and slave at the same time? How crazy is that for you to be the worker and the boss at the same time?
Yeah, because It's like I'm sitting here and I got stuff to do, and my boss side says, you need to start getting busy. And the worker side of me saying, I'm over here creating ideas. I mean, what do you want from me? And so I have learned to try and make time for both of my personas. And I find that you kind of help me navigate that. You'd be like, time to put your owner hat on.
Yeah, and I tell a lot.
Work.
I tell a lot of my clients that I say it's time for you to become an owner. You're still a worker, and they get mad at me. And I was like, why are you mad at me? I said, at the end of the day, you're never going to get the free time. You're never going to get the access to endless resources and profits that you desire if you don't get out of your own way.
Amen, brother. And with that being said, we're going to close this version out of Books for Business with Books for Business with Villareal Jonson, the E-Myth Revisited, chapters 3 and 4. If you want to download the E-Myth, go to our website, www.thebvdcenter.org. You can listen to it on audio, and then you can join us in 2 weeks. So every other week on Thursdays at 4 p.m. So check out the E-Myth on www.thebvdcenter.org and send us your comments. You can email me at info@thebvdcenter.org, and you can email Villareal at vjohnson@thebvdcenter.org.
And look, we're gonna keep them hanging for 2 weeks. Hopefully they do their homework and they come back ready to engage and ask questions. But there's 3 stages. Remember, infancy, adolescence, and the 3rd stage. And that's what we're going to talk about and we're going to cover as we close this out. So thank you again, Sharon, for having me.
And thank you for being here and going over the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. See you in 2 weeks.
All right, will do. Bye-bye.
Bye.